What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you a special video today of my top 5 favorite movies of 2017 so far. I figure June just ended, July just started. This is the perfect time to sort of recap what I think the best movies have been so far this year. Now, I'm going to give you my 5 favorites in really no particular order, along with a few honorable mentions that I thought have been really good so far this year. This is just a good thing to kind of keep up on, because then you guys kind of know where I'm sitting at all the movies that I've seen, and which ones have kind of moved up or moved down over time since I've gotten to rewatch a lot of them. Now, I do have 3 honorable mentions that are all sort of like good, but they didn't quite make the threshold for me. The first one is M. Night Shyamalan's Split with James McAvoy. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought McAvoy gave a phenomenal performance in this. It was sort of suspenseful, kind of scary, really interesting, and had a really in-depth plot. I feel like Shyamalan is finally getting back to his old like Sixth Sense and Unbreakable days of making films. If you didn't get a chance to catch Split, I highly recommend it because it is a really fun movie. It's not particularly like terrifying or anything, which I think is a problem with people that wanted to see it and they thought they were getting a horror movie, but instead it's more of just like a thriller. But it is definitely good. It's shot really well. It's got a really solid performance and a lot of good supporting cast. So I recommend it if you like thrillers, and especially if you like Shyamalan's older films. My second honorable mention is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, this one didn't quite make the list. It got inched out by a couple of other superhero movies, but I actually did really enjoy this movie. It invested a lot more in the emotional aspects of the Guardians. It invested in them as people and less on just sort of adding comedy. But I think that that is the weak point of this film, is it doesn't have as much comedy as the first one did, and when it does, it feels a little bit more forced in this film. It's got solid action, Kurt Russell's amazing, all of the cast does a really good job. If you're into the Marvel Universe, or if you like the first Guardians, obviously check it out because it's a good time. But I really think that it was solid, and I'm happy to see where it goes in the future, because I think now that we've had one that was really funny and really got us into this era of space exploration and killing aliens and all this stuff, and when I say era, I don't mean in the films like timeline, I mean like in Marvel movies, because so far we'd only had films on Earth, so we're finally in that era where they can explore all of that stuff. And I think the first one did that really well, and the second one then invested us more into the characters. My third honorable mention and final honorable mention is the Lego Batman movie. Will Arnett does a great job voicing Batman in this movie. It was super cool to see all of these different characters from the Batman universe and the DC universe all interacting on screen together. The movie is super funny, it's insanely clever, and Michael Cera as Robin is one of my favorite performances so far this year. I know it's just a voice performance, but he is so perfect in that role in this movie. Now, on to the list of my 5 actual favorite movies so far this year. The first one is one that I just reviewed super recently, so I want to get it out of the way first, and that's Baby Driver, Edgar Wright's new film with Ansel Elgort and a whole mess of other people. This movie has phenomenal rhythm, it's shot amazingly, it's got great performances, it has one of the best scripts of the year so far, and I highly recommend it to anyone and everyone. This movie is a great time in theaters, and it really deserves the money, because this is not a small, but this is a independent film almost in Hollywood's eyes. It doesn't have sequels. It's coming from a writer that likes to write sort of offbeat, a little more strange films, but it really works, and it's all so good. So please check out Baby Driver if you haven't while it's in theaters. The movie is phenomenal, and I personally really enjoyed it for the comedy and also for all of the great performances from the whole cast. As I said in my full review, Ansel Elgort actually really impressed me in this film. The next film on my list is Wonder Woman, the Gal Gadot, Chris Pine DC Universe film that actually is good. I really loved this film. I thought it was so well done. The action is super cool. Gal Gadot's a phenomenal Wonder Woman. Chris Pine is super funny and also really sells his role, and the chemistry between the two of them makes for, I would say, arguably the best romantic relationship we've ever had in a superhero movie so far, since sort of the era of superhero films has started, and I really enjoyed that aspect of this movie. If you're into DC films and you didn't get a chance to catch Wonder Woman yet, definitely go check it out, because it actually gives you hope for the future of these films after after seeing it, I am cautiously excited for what will come in this universe, and I actually kind of want to see Justice League a little bit more now. The next one is John Wick 2, Keanu Reeves' sequel to John Wick. I really loved this movie. Like, holy crap, John Wick is so good. The first one is so good. The second one is so good. It is the best action movie you can watch in modern Hollywood. The first and second one are both phenomenal action films. If you love action and you haven't gotten a chance to watch John Wick yet, change that immediately, because they have some of the best gunfights in the history of film, in my opinion. They are so great. Keanu Reeves is phenomenal in both films. The story actually feels like it makes sense when you're watching it. You're like, yeah, John Wick, you shoot all those dudes. Like, that's totally fair, because you're totally on his side in both films, and I really recommend these movies to everyone, actually. Like, even if you're not a big action fan, I recommend it. I've watched this movie with friends that don't have much care for action films, and even they are like, yeah, that movie was pretty great. So check it out. Just watch John Wick. I don't know. It's got great action, a great story. It's directed superbly. The movie is just awesome. Both of them are. Watch both of them immediately. The second to last movie that I want to list on my favorites so far this year is Get Out, Jordan Peele's directorial debut. This is a horror film. Split might have been a thriller, but this movie can scare you. Not scare you in like a I can't sleep tonight, but when you're watching the theater, you're pretty invested in the story, and it's really cool. This movie is extremely innovative. It has a phenomenal script that really keeps you guessing throughout the whole movie, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. All of the acting is great, the story it tells is great, and it also has really cool undertones of making statements about the society that we actually live in. If you didn't get a chance to see Get Out, I highly recommend it, regardless of whether you're into thrillers or horror films or not, because it's just a really well-made and amazingly written film. Jordan Peele has a bright future ahead of him if he can keep making movies like this, because this was a phenomenal start. And my favorite film of 2017 so far, while all of the other ones were in no particular order, the #1 slot is, and it will probably stay this way until we get closer to like Oscar season, if I had to guess. It's Logan. I have the poster right behind me. I own it on Blu-ray. It's Hugh Jackman's final Wolverine film, and it is a masterpiece, a literal masterpiece. I have rewatched this movie 4 or 5 times. I saw it 3 times in theaters, and this movie does not lose a beat. It tells a phenomenally sad but awesome story. If you like superhero movies and you didn't see Logan, check it out. But if you just like great films, see Logan. It shows the story of an old, sort of weak Wolverine as he is trying to complete one last task with a mentally debilitated Professor X and all of these other elements chasing after him, and he is weak and can't fight like he used to, and it is so great. Hugh Jackman's performance is absolutely amazing, and I really hope it isn't forgotten when awards season comes around, because him and Patrick Stewart both give amazingly phenomenal performances, and in my opinion, he gives arguably the best leading performance in any superhero film ever. I don't want to say all time because Heath Ledger's Joker, but Heath Ledger's Joker was supporting. I think for a lead role, Hugh Jackman might take the cake as giving the best one ever. Well guys, those are my favorite films of 2017 so far. Please leave a comment down below if there's any that you feel that I left out that you've loved so far this year. As always, I'm Eric. Please do like, subscribe, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and hope to see you guys later.